Okay. So you ready to begin the Aquifer Protection Area meeting
Please go
for
ahead.
tonight? All right. So I'll start with a roll call. Schulman, Cantor,
Okay. Brian,
Hey, Alexis is going through it, Mr.
Yeah,
Sherman.
do you usually just call? I'll just call you off and
that's fine.
okay. So I'll start with Chairman Schulman,
Here.
Cantor,
Here.
Lingalis,
Here.
Tabachnik,
Here.
Rowena,
Here.
Linkowski, Wells,
Here.
Williams.
Here.
I think that is it. All right. So my name's Alexis Carachetti. I'm the staff for the city. I work in the Planning and Zoning Office. I'm the Senior Environmental Officer and Assistant Director of Planning and Zoning. And hopefully most of you know that when you signed up to be a Planning and Zoning Commissioner, you're also roped into being having another hat, which is the Aquifer Protection Agency. You serve concurrently as both. And so what the Aquifer, I'll give you a quick rundown of what Aquifer is. And then we'll move to the item on the agenda. So Aquifer protection is a required program that was mandated as from state legislature. The state DEP came up with the way that the program is run. The state identified 28 higher risk activities. And if those higher risk activities are conducted within the aquifer protection area by a commercial business, that business, if they were in existence when we adopted the regulations in 2009, had to register as a grandfathered aquifer protection facility. And these registrations are good for every 5 years. That's why you don't have a lot of aquifer protection meetings, because there's kind of this 5-year slug of registration renewals. But you do see us if there is a aquifer permit. And so a permit, there have been 3 aquifer permits issued in Norwalk. And so you see us if there's a permit request, and then you see us if there is an enforcement where we've issued an order. And I'll just note that Commissioners Bryce and Jordan Byron have joined the meeting.
Evening all.
So that is kind of my brief overview of what Aquifer is. It really is a required best management practices program where, well, I'll take a step back. We originally had 35 facilities in Norwalk that were registered facilities. And by registering, the facilities self-verify that they are doing all the best management practices that are outlined in the aquifer protection regulations that are designed to protect groundwater from being contaminated. The groundwater where these facilities are is a very direct nexus to a public drinking water supply aquifer. And that's why we make sure that these businesses are being as careful with their land use as possible to protect our public drinking water supply. So that brings me to tonight's agenda. There's only one item on the agenda, and that is a show cause hearing for order APV 2442 for 2 Muller Avenue, which is SLI Norwalk LLC, and Sean Salons is doing business there. for the aquifer regulations, whenever an enforcement order is issued, the statute requires that the agency, which is you, hold a show cause hearing within 10 days of the issuance of an order. So the show cause hearing is designed to give the respondent, the recipient of the order, an opportunity to show cause or present any information to you regarding the order and the situation of their property. And so the way that a show cause hearing works is that I, as the person that issued the order, will explain to you why I issued the order. And then the respondent, who tonight is represented by Andy Sumalides at Land Tech, he will have the opportunity to show cause or give any additional information regarding the situation at 2 Muller. Then you can close the show cause hearing, and at the conclusion, you'll need to make a vote, a decision to either withdraw the order if you feel that there is not a violation of the aquifer protection regulations, uphold the order, or you can amend and uphold the order. All right. So I believe that I wrote a brief staff report, and it linked to some of the documents that have been uploaded onto the website. And I'll just start with kind of a quick rundown of my actions. This facility is operating under an existing aquifer registration. It's number 1901. So the 19 means that it was, it started its current 5-year registration period in the year 2019. So it will expire this coming July. So the registrant will be getting a reminder letter to get that paperwork in the next couple of weeks. Additionally, this facility is operating under 2 permits. This current facility owner was not the original facility owner in 2009 when the aquifer protection regulations were adopted. That was a different facility, electric control company, and they received a aquifer registration to do the manufacture and production of electrical equipment. They left in about the year 2015, and around 2018, another contractor's yard, AJ Penna, was looking for a site and considered this site and applied for and received the first aquifer permit. And that permit allowed him to change the registered activity from production of electrical components to the distribution of the dispensing rather of petroleum or fuel. And he used that or his intention was to use that to fuel his fleet vehicles. Mr. Penna never physically occupied the site, but soon after that permit was approved, the current facility owner and operator, Sean's Lawns, moved onto the site. Once they transferred the registration, they also transferred that 2016 aquifer permit, and then they also applied for an additional permit in 2019 to add the repair of vehicles. Repair of vehicles is also a aquifer regulated use. So there's 1 registration, and then there are 2 permits. The operator was issued on March 5th a notice of violation alerting him that the permit conditions for the 2019 permit were still not met. And in particular, portions of the site improvements had relating to the management of stormwater had not been completed. as I'm sure you'll hear from its representatives, some of the elements, some of the best management practices that were proposed were completed. The fuel dispensing area does have secondary containment and does have a roof, and some other modifications to the buildings themselves were completed. But the stormwater capture and treatment system that was on the approved plans was never completed. I did not hear from the respondent following that March 5th notice of violation. So on May 30th, I issued an order. That order that's at the top of the page of documents that I sent you is what is under consideration tonight. And that order notes that the facility is not meeting the conditions imposed by Aquifer Permit 1903, which requires that all stormwater management measures be installed and operational prior to conducting any regulated activities. And then it also references the conditions of Aquifer Permit 1601, which also requires that all stormwater management measures be installed and operational prior to operating at the site. The directives in the order are to immediately cease all regulated activities at the premises. Regulated activities, again, would be any dispensing of petroleum fuels on the site, and then any repair of vehicles on the site. And then the second directive is to have all the site improvements fully implemented no later than July 22nd, 2024. Any questions at all for me regarding the order? All right.
Quick question on the last point that you had, that all items be addressed before July 22nd, 2024. If I understood correctly, their registration expires July 17th, 2024. Does it make sense for those dates to align so that way we know they're in compliance when they apply for renewing their permit? Does that make sense? Renewing their registration? Sorry.
It does. They can submit their registration at an earlier date. It would be deemed as they will have to submit their application for re-registration earlier than this July 22nd deadline. If they have not completed the work in advance of that registration receipt, their registration will be, the staff will write them a letter indicating that not all of the requirements of their registration renewal aren't met. And then they have a time period, which I believe is, well, I'll have to look that up, but it's a long period for them to complete their registration. So as long as their paperwork is in prior to their registration expiration, they should be okay.
Okay.
Alexis, do you have the authority, or do we have the authority not to approve the registration?
If the improvements have not been completed, yes. But otherwise, the registration is otherwise no. So if the work has been completed, it's a complete registration. And what the registration, it's not really an approval, it's an acceptance. So you don't really kind of approve or deny, and you can't condition registrations, which you can permit, but not registrations. The registration is more is it complete, and are they have they certified that they're doing all best management practices that are required by the regulations. So it's more of a check mark.
JJ, you're muted.
Yes, I just realized that. that was going to be my question. I think you just answered it though, because Is the violation based on paperwork and process, or is it based upon violation of materials and spillage?
So it's based on the lack of implementation of an approved plan. So when they submitted their application to get an aquifer permit, they provided a site plan that showed improvements to the site so that they could say that even though they were doing these two higher risk activities, their activities would have a very low chance of resulting in any contamination of the groundwater because these systems were in place. And they're getting the order because those systems were never installed in the ground.
Did they give
So
an
there's-
explanation on why they did not meet that, those dates? Those
Um,
requirements?
Not yet, but I suspect that when you turn it over to the respondent's representative, we'll say something.
Thank you.
Is
Right,
there no
well-
consequence for them from 2017 until now? I mean, took 2 years to get the permit and then they didn't do what the permit said they had to do. It seems like, okay, cease activities until you do it, but here we'll give you another 5-year registration. Like, it doesn't seem like enough of a consequence.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, well, let me, almost, and then we'll go to you. It's like any regulations, the regulations themselves are not designed to be punitive. Although I can, as the staff person that deals with non-compliance, I can very much understand that desire to have kind of a more punitive element. The end goal is compliance and implementation of all best management practices. So if the operator were to now that the order has been issued, what if they have non-compliance, then we have a clear path to then file for a temporary injunction, require them to cease operations and to not operate from there. So that I guess is I don't know if that's a satisfactory answer, but it really is designed to compel compliance and not really have a punitive aspect.
But
And the
in
permit
what-
was issued
in-
2019. The order doesn't come till 2024. That's my other concern. Sorry.
Yes, right. So we had 2019, they finally got their plans approved. As you said, it did take 2 years of back and forth to get their permits approved. Then the pandemic hit, so we did not do any inspections in 2020, and then they were notified in 2021. And then I think Mr. Sumulides from Land Tech can potentially provide some more information. I know that the operator was had some health issues for a while, so we kind of had some difficulty tracking him down. We had some verbal promises that it was getting worked on, and that that was on their list of things to do. But then it gets to a certain point where you can't kind of say, okay, I still haven't seen anything. We need to take action. And part of the need to take action is because, well, if you want your registration renewed and that's coming up, you need to get everything in line, or your registration cannot be renewed.
So Alexis, a question. Okay, I just wrote this down and I put it in quotes. You said that it is not designed to be punitive. And in what other universe of public health and safety do they not have punitive practices or actions that needs to be enforced in order to stop bad behavior?
I think, well, most, you do have the option, just like in zoning, the Common Council adopted a citation and fine ordinance that allows zoning violations to go to a kind of a dual track and have a citation and fine. And you do have that option if you would like to pursue that for Aquifer as well. But a lot of the municipal land use schemes, they have that option for a citation and fine, but that's kind of an add-on. At the core of the regulation, it is very much a compliance-driven process.
JJ, in order to move this along, we have a long agenda. I'm going to suggest that when things quiet down a bit, as I think they will over the summer, we have Alexis back and we start to talk about putting some teeth into these regulations.
Thank
I've
you.
already had that conversation with her and with Steve.
Yes.
I mean, it's outrageous that a company should be allowed to pollute for this period of time and not be held accountable. So I'm on board with you 100%. But
you.
right now we're doing the most that the regulations permit. Alexis, would it be appropriate now to ask Mr. Soumalides to speak?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is yours.
I'm gonna be really quick. We're not here to contest anything. We're here to say that we're gonna get it done by the July 22nd deadline. I'm not here to go through the whole history, COVID, illnesses, whatever. So we're here just to say, yeah, we will get the work done that needs to get done by July 22nd.
Well, we appreciate that.
I'm here to answer any questions if anybody wants more detail on it, and I don't think there's really any excuses here for 5 years down the road, but here we are, and we're I spoke with the client, and he's ready and willing and able to get this work done by July 22nd.
Well, my suggestion at this point is that we close this hearing and move on to action.
Thank you.
The members have any objection to that?
No.
Okay, then the hearing is closed. I'm also going to suggest that for the interests of the city and our water supply, and in order to hold the company's feet to the fire, that we uphold the order that Ms. Cherachidi is recommending. Discussion?
Yes, I would like to say that I'm one person, obviously, on this commission, but I made it as clear as I possibly could at the last Aquifer hearing that these kinds of violations over the aquifer, which supplies a major percentage of the population in Norwalk with water, including me, although I drink more wine than water, but still. I'm concerned about it, and I really believe that this order should be upheld, and by the time the middle of the summer comes, that something is put in place that gives Alexis some teeth on these violations.
Alexis and Brian, maybe this would help as a reminder. Let's see if we, at the meeting during the summer, that we also have the chair of the Council Ordinance Committee at our meeting, so that we can get buy-in from her as well.
I'd like to add that in addition to whatever discussion we have about the ability to do a citation and a fine, I think in a situation like this, the order to cease operation should have come much earlier. I think with all kinds of enforcement, we need to do a notice and give a reasonable time frame, and then that's it. Things cease until they fix it. And I understand the inspection didn't happen until 2021. We don't need to hear the whole story, but I feel like there must have been a way to do the order before the registration was about to expire. I'd like to put that on the agenda for the summer.
That's fine. That seems perfectly appropriate in terms of the discussion we'll be having. Okay, Alexis, what is it we need to do?
So you would just
Just
need a,
have a motion to uphold the order? Okay, can I have a
So moved.
motion to uphold the
So
order?
moved.
Okay, so Mr. Rowena has moved. Looks like Ms. Langalis has seconded. Any further discussion? If not, I think we can do this one with just a show of hands. All those in favor? Looks like it's unanimous. So, okay, you have your marching orders.
okay. And then you would
Thank you, Alexis.
technically adjourn your Aquifer meeting, and then you would commence your planning and zoning.
Thank
commission.
you.
Take
Can I
care.
have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, JJ has made the motion. Richard put his hand up to second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you,
Thank
Alexis.
you.
Thanks, Alexis, can you just make me host before you leave?
Yes, I will. I see that
Thank
you
you.
aren't. Hold on one second.
Brian, do we have to sign off and come back?
Nope,
No,
you're good. But the public is in the meeting, so keep it PG.
okay, it's always PG.
Always PG.
All right, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Just gonna do
Or-
a quick stop and then re-record.
Go ahead.
Okay.